position, feel free to get in touch with me and I will be happy to help you. We have two great guests today. We're going to start off with our first guest is Chad Merriman. He is an innovator, but also an instructor, an author, a librarian. So he's got a lot of exciting things to share with us, and very recently developed a really cool space here at the college that is available to all our students. So I'm going to let him take the floor and tell us all about that, and we're going to get a tour.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
So
Great.
and as the snacks come in, we'll send them up.
Yeah, thanks. And this is,
I'm hoping they're coming.
yeah, so thanks for coming, I appreciate it. So you guys doing good?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah? Good. Is it any way possible for me to turn this one light off, do you think?
I bet there is.
Sorry.
We can find out which one. The very front one?
Yeah. Whoops.
Nope,
That's
turn,
on.
turn one on.
Okay.
Nope, turn more on.
No.
No.
Hmm.
Maybe I have to do that.
Will that impact your video, Chris?
Is there another name?
No, it should be
Or-
fine. No.
If not,
No,
don't worry
what-
about it.
That turns more on.
But that's
Maybe.
weird though.
Sorry, I don't spend a lot of time in this room.
Yeah, that's all right. No big deal. So, what was that? It's a space, and I walk around a lot, so I'm not going to be in front of this video thing very often. But it's a space where I call it a technology playground, where we are at least, and it's just an area where we have common things that we all work on and dream and create things, that kind of stuff. So what I did, this was kind of a selfish thing. Last year, I was actually late on the due date for the grant proposal, but I had an idea. It was for the innovation grant, and I said, well, normally, like the first year I got it, it was mostly tablets, and I wanted to study tablets when they first came out, and so it was very specific. So this time I was like, I want a space where I have a lot of things where people can come in and have openness to where they can innovate. So it kind of wrote itself, and it was a selfish thing too, because a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you is things that I've been wanting to play with and learn myself, like robotics, Arduinos, and all that. And we'll look at that in a minute too. So we did get the grant, so we got the full amount, $3,500, which was nice. And so my first step was to go through. There's the snacks. Feel free to cop up and get them if you guys want. I will not be
The
offended at
snacks
all.
are coming, so everyone's happy.
Should I go- have you got enough
place
room?
and then upstairs and then.
So
Yeah, we moved our meeting room, sorry.
it's okay. Yeah, help yourself, guys. I'm not.
Sorry,
Don't worry about it.
no idea where this place is.
Yeah, this is a weird room to find. So, got the grant, that was exciting, and so then I started figuring out, okay, I'm gonna start buying stuff. And so what was nice, I actually was able to go through Amazon, and so I started, because Amazon sells everything, right? It was so much easier than creating a purchase order for every different thing. So I started buying a ton of stuff. So the first thing is obviously the 3D printer. That's a huge kind of draw to the lab. I will say I have a love-hate relationship with 3D printers. We'll go in the lab later, you'll see one now that's actually taken apart. The one we bought is open source. The developer of this one actually lives a block away from my house.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it was actually designed in Sweden, but built in St. Pete.
Wow.
And so that's the one right there, the Monolith 3D printer. So it's open source, which means I can take it apart if I want and make it bigger, smaller, whatever I want to do with it. And it runs on open source software too, which is great. Obviously there's a ton of other 3D printers available too. MakerBot's probably one of your better known ones. They sell those at Home Depots now, right? Put us on the Google Map. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but this was a project of mine a couple years ago where you've all used Google Maps, I'm sure,
Yeah.
where it brings you to the door, but what happens is you get lost inside the buildings, right? So we actually mapped the interior of this whole campus. And so we actually got the Innovation Lab on there. So if you have your phone and you use Google Maps, now people are showing up, that's good. And you bring in your phone into the map, you can actually zoom really in to the floor plan and get directions to and from different buildings. So anyway, we put that on the map. So then, what was interesting before we actually had the opening is I bought all the stuff, and then we figured out where we were going to put the space. And so we overtook one of the program rooms that wasn't getting a lot of use. And what was interesting is I met with the provost, the library director, and the interior decorator. And that's when I started showing her what I wanted this place to look like. And then she gave me a bill for like $8,000 to do it. And I was like, oh, I only got $3,500, and I already bought all the toys. But anyway, the provost was like, you know what, we'll get that. We'll get it from another budget, and they did. So I was very lucky. So we got nice paint on the walls, we got some artwork up there, electrical outlets, Ethernet ports, furniture, all of that was beyond the grant. So I got really lucky there. So our opening, we had the Tampa Tribune come out, we had some videographers come out, packed house both times. So this is from one of the openings. We did one in the morning and one in the evening. The one in the morning had all the president of the college was there, which was nice. I never really had a chance to sit and talk to him before, but he was very interested in this place because it's a huge opportunity. And since you entrepreneurs, think about it. There's people, business owners come in all the time with ideas and inventions they want to test, and they print things out, and it's like an incubator, right, for ideas and stuff in here. So it's really cool. So a lot of the politicians and powers that be actually came into the first opening, which was really cool. So, and we did get a good write-up, like I said, the Tampa Tribune, the Seminole Beacon, and Chris Devins did a lot of social media for us too, so we're getting a lot of hits. So some of the stuff we've got that we do now, again, I mentioned robotic kits. There's Chris actually running around testing Google Glasses, so we actually played with that a little bit. Little bits, I'll show you those. There's a little modular electronic pieces that create sound, so you basically control voltage, essentially. We have a couple Raspberry Pis. I just ordered a bunch of new ones that you're going to be able to check out of the place and bring them home. So Raspberry Pi is like a little circuit board where you can basically build whatever you want, which is pretty cool. Let's see, we've got a little lightweight version of Pro Tools. We could run pretty much any flavor of Linux if you want. If you want to test an open source operating system instead of just using Mac or Windows, you can do that there too. A couple other things, I'm going to go through this kind of quick. We get a lot of requests, believe it or not, to print or to capture 3D objects in physical world, which is weird to me because I'm like, it already exists here, so you want to scan it so you can print it out. So okay, all right, that's fine, we'll do it. So instead of buying something that does that, we started to try to figure out other ways to do it, because it's one of those places where I don't have the money to just buy stuff. It's a place for us to go, all right, well, we have this problem, let's try to figure out a way to solve it together as a group. So we've had people that want to do this 3D capturing and then design. So the first time we had an artist come in, and you guys are seeing this thing too, this is kind of annoying here, let me move it over here. So the first time we had an artist come in with this piece of work, and we took about 60 photographs all around and then tried to render that in software. It didn't work. Then the same software, we put it on an iPad and tried to go around and capture it. That worked a little better. We were then able to get it in 3D. Then we've got a donation of a Microsoft Kinect. I'm sure you guys know what that is, right, for gaming, where we can now kind of scan our bodies or whatever. So our next project, I've been working with the digital design students. We're going to scan some heads and make Pez dispensers, right? So that'll be fun. So that's stuff we can do in there as well. All right. Some other things. Students come in and they want to do video. Well, we're not a video lab, but you know what? We're going to make one. We're going to figure out a way to make it work, and we did. So this student came in. We recorded him, did his audio and video through Pro Tools and through an iPad, and he was able to get a pretty sophisticated video for his electronic portfolio. Pretty cool. Again, we're not a video. That's so weird. We're not a video lab, but we can do it, right? We also, our first workshop was to build an online file distribution system. So we did that as a group. So instead of, I wanted to get all this stuff built before the opening, but we didn't have time, so I figured let's just do it as a group. You can see actually Chris is in there as well. We had a couple people show up. And it's just a way for us to tinker with things and build something that we can use. We had one person in there that was kind of watching, and I remember she was like, well, why don't you just go to a store and buy this? Yeah, but that defeats the whole purpose of learning how this stuff works. You know, we wanna build it so we understand every little nuance of how it works, and that's what we've done. So what this thing is, it's an access point, so you could walk in, go with your phone or anything that's connected, and you can connect to that little box, and then I can share files with you, I can push out anything. So it's pretty sophisticated, we can do this, it's pretty cool. I can put up to 32 gigs of data and storage on that thing. And so you can connect right to it. I'm working on an FTP site where you can actually upload things from your phone or whatever right to that. So it's kind of like a community hub server for different projects and stuff that we're working on. This lab also does game development workshops. We've done quite a few. We're getting ready to do a maker boot camp in the summer, which is going to be, I think, 6 weeks, and we're going to focus on game development. Then we're going to do 3D design and 3D printing. We're going to do robotics. We're going to do circuitry. I'll show you the thing that we have. We have a circuit scribe, where it's a conductive pen, where you can draw circuits and connect things to it. It's pretty amazing what you can do with this stuff, right? You don't have to have expensive prototypes. You can do stuff for very cheap to test your ideas. Okay. The gaming club. I'm the club advisor for the gaming club on campus, and what's nice is a lot of those guys in that group are volunteers for the lab. That's how the lab runs. I can't spend my whole day in there. I wish I could. But we just got funded we just bought an Oculus Rift. Have you guys seen those before? No? Facebook bought them for $2 billion recently. Yeah, that was in the news, pretty big deal. Yeah, no? You guys awake? Hello?
Yeah, but I didn't know what it was.
Okay, so we got an Oculus Rift, which is a development kit. So we're gonna actually develop it in the lab and then give it to the gaming club to play with, to see if it works. We also added a Leap control, where it's a little device where you can then reach into virtual reality and manipulate things in the digital space. It's pretty cool. So working with them has been amazing. So we got a nice little partnership there. The Innovation Lab also partnered, and we sponsored the Mid-Knowledge Comic-Con. Did any of you come to that last year? 3,500 people showed up. It wasn't like some little dinky thing, right? It turned into something huge. This whole place, this campus was packed. Packed. And so what we did is it was a Comic-Con, so all these people in costume and Star Wars people walking around, and we had special speakers and all this stuff. But we also made it into a MakerCon. So we had components of maker culture. So 3D printing people and robotics, we were in there as well. So really amazing stuff. The second one, we've changed it to Pinellas Comic and MakerCon. That's gonna be October 17th this year, and it's gonna be bigger. And we got some good guests coming this year too. So for me, it's all about a place to play, a playground. Go in, don't worry about making mistakes, you know. We worry too much about grades, I think. I think we're just too concerned about, oh, I better get an A. And here, you know what, come in, fail, I don't care. If you have an idea and you wanna try it, do it. So we've got homeschoolers that come in, we got some gaming club guys that like to tinker with stuff. My daughter designed her own little thing and 3D printed it herself. It's not rocket science. It's really not. You'll be amazed what you can do. Color outside the lines. There's another one of our gaming guys. You can see right there that little circuit board on the far left or far right corner. That's a Raspberry Pi. And he programmed that thing to store thousands of arcade games. So it's a huge gaming console. It's got Nintendo, Sony, classic arcade games all embedded on a tiny little chip that's in that circuit board. Some younger kids actually doing some robotics, which is really cool, programming robots to do what they want them to do. I already mentioned this, the digital imaging fundamentals classes come in, and I've actually taught classes in the lab about 3D design and printing, and then we actually came into this classroom and watched a Maker documentary. So that's kind of a neat thing. I'm not gonna go into any of this. So, a couple things here. We've got the 3D printer, we've got the little bit sense kit that I talked about, the Arduinos, which we're getting ready to get more of those to check out, little circuit boards. Pro Tools, we've got an iMac in there, getting ready to upgrade that. 2 Linux computers, actually more than one, we got 2 or 3 Windows computers now. Tons of open source apps. We've got a Makey, which is something that you can connect things, like a banana, a bunch of bananas, for example, plug that into your computer and play a piano on your banana, right? It's pretty cool. Kubelets, little modular robots you can program. The PhotoSnap LilyPad, it's a smart fabric, basically. We have one lab volunteer who wants to build a headphone jack into her hoodie using this technology, and I'm going to let her have fun with it and do it. Part of the lab deal though is if you build something significant, I want them to share how they did it, and so it's kind of a reflective piece. So I've got people doing all kinds of stuff in there, and that's why the innovation grant wrote itself essentially, because people are in there doing the stuff they want to do, right? And as long as they just kind of document the process, then that's what we want. Let's see, so we do have some toolkits in there. We've got a soldering kit. People are actually soldering stuff. That was selfish of me too. I've got a ton of stuff to solder at home. I'm horrible at it. So I bought a kit, and we're gonna have a class on it soon. And I'm gonna bring the stuff in that I need soldered. So, again, selfish, but it works, right? You gotta think that way these days.
There you go.
We got a smart TV in there with a Skype connection to it. So actually, Chris and I met with, what was the name of that group again, Chris?
I don't remember what their product was, but it was a group of academics at Harvard.
Yeah, and they were interested in kind of gamifying the whole voting process. And so we met with them in the lab through the TV, which was kind of neat. Anyway, we have a reference collection too. There's books and magazines, so you don't have to always go in and make stuff. You can come in and just kind of read and think and come up with ideas. I already talked about Circuit Scribe and all that. So tons of stuff in there. We got approved for another grant this year, and I have not even had a chance to think about what I'm going to put in there. So, again, I'm pretty lucky. I have a great relationship with the IT guys here because I'm a geek. I speak their language. So I don't need to spend money on the computers themselves, right? I can spend money on the things, right? The gadgets. So we're getting some stronger computers here pretty soon too. So let's see. Yeah, Leap Motion is what I talked about. We're also thinking about building, and this was Chris's idea, a MAME machine, which is one of those big arcade games, but it has all of the old classic games in it. So it's something we're thinking about doing. Oh, and a hoverboard. We want to buy one of those too. Some other events that we've actually already done is, have you guys ever heard of Echo Bridge Pictures? No? They're a local animation company, and they're amazing. They are from downtown St. Pete. They are on Comedy Central. They've been on BBC. They are amazing. And I was blown away to find out that they're local. So we were able to get them to do a lecture and a workshop. And so we had that was a full house actually. So this world-renowned animator came in and taught our animation students how it really is. So I kind of love the fact that he was not sugarcoating anything. We did the Hour of Code workshop. Every year during Computer Science Education Week, we do an hour of code. And I think you were at one.
You're right, I was there, so was Lakin.
Yeah.
Our treasurer.
Yep, and so that was pretty neat. And we're gonna do that again for the Hour of Code week, but we're also gonna do it throughout the semester, which is a nice way to introduce programming to people. They can come in and get a basic idea of how it works and just see if they're interested in pursuing that. And I think a lot of people will when they see how it works. We just did an introducing drones workshop, which was really cool. The guy came in and showed us how the drones work. There's a huge, huge business opportunity with regards to drones. So he just started a business and he's droning real estate, right? And he's actually going to start droning video. Have you guys seen drone video? I'm sure, hopefully. Okay. sports teams, like soccer teams, you can drone them and kind of get the full view of what they're doing. It's pretty amazing. And he also does drone footage of boats, so they can sell boats and stuff. The guy's doing some pretty amazing stuff. So we had a workshop on that, and that was a full house too. Working on the guest lecture series still, and then again, Pinellas Comic and MakerCon 2015 is coming. And I have another event that we just got funded for, and have you guys heard of The Wrecking Crew? It's a documentary film that's #1 on iTunes right now. Just the other day, I reached out to the director, just on a whim. Very well known. The Wrecking Crew is a group of 6 or 8 musicians back in the 60s, 70s, and I think the 80s, who are responsible for almost every musical hit imaginable. Back in the day, like bands like the Monkees and the Beach Boys, a lot of them didn't play their own instruments. It was the Wrecking Crew, the 6 or 7 musicians behind the scenes that did it all. So Denny Tedesco is the director, so I reached out to him the other day just on a whim. Like, I would love to screen this film here. Would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to come and talk to our students about it? He said, he replied within a half hour and said yes. So I'm hoping in April, I don't know the exact date yet, we're gonna have him here. At a theater in downtown St. Pete, an actual movie theater. So that's gonna be partially funded and sponsored by the Innovation Lab too. Pretty cool stuff.
What month did you say?
April. Yeah. Once I get the full details and I can confirm that, I'll be posting it everywhere.
Cool.
It's gonna be huge. I mean, it's,
We'll put it on our, Facebook.
yes, definitely.
Make sure you do.
Yeah, he was winning all kinds of awards. There was a good article in Newsweek the other day about him. So it's not, this will be a big event. I feel more like an event coordinator now than I do an educator or whatever, you know, that's really what I've been doing a lot of lately. And I love it. Here's a bunch of ways to kind of keep in touch with us. If you're on Facebook, we have a Facebook group. We're on Tumblr. I'm working on a wiki. Remember I talked about the reflective piece? I'm trying to have it set up to where we can have more information up there. So when somebody does a project that's successful, they can tell us how they did it and all that. And there's the generic email. We also have a resource bundle that we're using on Medium, which is a new platform. If you're interested in that, Chris has posted a lot of articles on there, and I've got some on there. The grant proposals are up there too, so you can feel free to borrow any of that stuff if you want. And there's, I don't know if you guys can read that, there's my contact. I got some cards too if you're interested, or you can go that way. Stuff all night. I won't do that to you guys. This is a huge passion of mine. I love this space. I wish I could spend my full day in there.
What part of your day do you spend in there? Students wanna come, check it out?
I'll go in there whenever a student wants to be in there. I do have quite a few volunteers that hang out and are in there. I can't leave it open, just open, because there's a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, if you want to come in and play around, if you want to, we can go take a tour now, or if you want, we can schedule it later, because I know you're getting kind of close on time. It's up to you. How do you guys want to do that?
Will it take more than 15 minutes?
Yeah,
I think it has.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, it'd be great.
Okay, yeah, I'll make it real quick,
Maybe grab
because I know you're up next, right?
We're trying to get my thing together.
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
Oh,
You know, I'd like to say about Chad, he
Yes.
took the SPC College Library online, this guy right here.
Oh.
He's the guy. And when people used to ask me about their PDAs, whatever, I would say Chad. And I'm going back, I'm not kidding you, 8 years.
Yeah, we've known each other for a while.
Yeah, 9 years.
Back when,
I went to him and asked him if he wanted to teach a weekend class.
I remember, I taught those weekend classes for a long time, for a very long time.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
So let's go see your place.
sure. Thanks for listening, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You wanna grab us?
Yeah, I think I got all my stuff off of here.
Every time you guys come to the work, that's
Yeah, I guess they got the WebEx thing going, so I just didn't, you can move this thing around.
This is PowerPoint.
Yeah, yeah.
And just keep getting bigger.
All right, we can actually just go through here. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's better.
Thank you.
I
No, you look just like
That
somebody
comic
got
con,
it.
that was awful.
I do go to the SJ meeting too.
First year.
Oh, do you?
And I think they had it downtown, Tampa, down there, and ours was bigger than they ever done.
There you go.
All over.
Go all the way down to that door, take a right. Yep. Sure thing. So. Thank you.
And I see this game guys, like President.
So come on in. It's really messy right now, which is good.
Stuff's
Normally,
happening.
normally this is normally just covered with stuff. Do you mind closing that door, Lynn? You come on in. Yeah, so I'm just gonna show you a couple things. Here's the 3D printer that's actually, I had to take apart recently. Again, I know the developers of this, the guy lives right down the street from me. I'm bringing it to him tonight because something's wrong with the motor. But essentially, I'm not gonna go into too much, but this gets really hot and melts plastic and just draws things in 3D. It's pretty cool. So if you ever wanna do that, and some of this stuff, this was all printed in 3D. One of our volunteers actually created a cell phone holder. I don't know if it works on mine.
It's a certain size.
It's a certain size, so he made it work for his phone, so it's kinda cool. And this was 3D printed if you guys wanna,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Everything's 3D anymore.
So, and then if you're interested, the MakerCon stuff is right here if you guys need, if you wanna go to that. Couple
I
things.
wish I had it longer.
We do have a podcast station. We've got an English class and a English as a second language class in here. And the English class is actually reading their favorite passages from classic novels. And then the ESL students are actually listening to it. So they're actually filming all that stuff, or doing the recordings in here, which is really cool. So we have a little podcasting station. This is our Linux machine, our iMac, which we're getting ready to upgrade this. Our lightweight Pro Tools, so we have an official version of Pro Tools in here. We do have a 3D pen, which one of our faculty members, I don't know where it is, oh, it's in my office. One of the faculty members donated it, and she was like, it doesn't work. It's a 3D pen, so it like, you draw in 3D. Yeah, yeah. So you draw in 3D, and so it didn't work. One of our volunteers actually soldered it and fixed it for her. And then she was like, well, you guys just keep it. So we were able to keep it, so that was neat. Our little robot guys, I just had to replace the actual power robot, which is in my office. So these are little programmable robots. And so this has got like a sensor in it. This one has a thinking, this is a logic robot here, I believe, so you can give it certain logic to remember and do. This one actually drives, you know, but like I said, I gotta get the powered ones fixed. Let's see. I do have a bunch of books coming that are gonna fill up these shelves, so people can just come in and kind of listen to it or read what they wanna read. It runs thousands of video games, classic video games, all on this little chip right here. And it's got Ethernet port, it's got 2 USB ports, and it's also got an HDMI port on it too.
So it's just plug and play?
Yeah.